You're tuned into the Indie Popcast, broadcasting from Echo Park, Los Angeles.
Okay. Should we kick it off? Are we all good, Stewart?
Do you guys have like theme music? It's like da 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 Indie Pop.
That's just gonna be the intro now. I'm just gonna use that forever. Thank you so much for that.
I got you.
So it's episode 4 of the Indie Popcast. I'm Seena. I'm gonna be your host. Jesus, I'm so happy that you're here.
Hi, Seena.
You always have the best vibes, and let it be known that there's not many people that I would wake up this early for, but for you, I'm here.
I appreciate you. I randomly got hit with some work last minute that had to take up during our time, so I was like, fuck, I don't want to say no. I can't say no. And then you're like, I gotta get a sound guy. I'm like, no, shit. Then I woke up and it was Stewart. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Stewart's the man. Stewart's our boy. Kind of the story of your life, right? Always getting hit last minute with something random or work.
It's a part of the gig, and I take pride in coming through. If I can come through for you and make sure you're able to finish your product or whatever it is you need help with, I got you. And somehow, some line, like, you don't got to pay me back, you don't owe me anything, but I know somehow, some way, something will end up coming around for me like that. So it's all good.
I love that attitude. That's why I love talking to you. So for anybody that's listening that doesn't know really your role, do you kind of want to explain it? I've gotten a chance to get to know you when we're on set with Kyle, photo shoots, video shoots, around our Indie Pop HQ here. What do you do right now? What is your role specifically? What's a day in the life of Jesus or SuperDuperJesus? I think that's your Instagram, right?
Yeah, SuperDuperJesus, SuperDuper_Jesus, because there's someone actually out there with the SuperDuper.
Oh, really?
I don't know who it is.
Who's that guy?
I'm gonna ask him if I can buy the name.
We got to take him down.
No, I am Kyle's day-to-day manager on the more personal side. I'm the one that just funnels everything. Whatever Kyle has to do that day, I'm the one that's gonna take him there. I've been with him for the last 7 years, so I kind of know him the best on a technical work side, just how he lives his life. And I just make sure he's just able to go from point A to point B to point C and bring him back to point A safely. As long as he is safe and not in harm's way, that's all that matters. That's my job. Make sure he is safe to everything and everything he does. I think we've only been late to stuff maybe 3 times. To actual, we've never missed a gig. We've never really missed a gig before. We've never missed a show, radio. We take pride in being on time, being there. That is our motto. We will be there the time you ask, because it is important to you, so it is important to us.
I love that. No one's ever on time. I think I went somewhere last night and I tweeted, am I the only person in LA that's on time ever? Yes or yes. So it's nice to know that there's someone else out there with the same motto.
Oh yeah. When I was young, my dad literally forced in my head, you have to be there on time or right before, because you never know what can happen. And say you're there and say it doesn't happen, it's all good. At least you were there when you were supposed to, and you're not showing up in a heat of race, last minute, anything last minute. Though you get stuff last minute, you can kind of prioritize time, and there's some stuff that's last minute. But if you have the chance to control it, maybe that's where my OCD comes in, I guess. I like to be on time. I like to be where I need to be, where I need to, because I can control my actions to it. Along the way, it could be different, but I can control what I need to do.
Damn, we grew up 2 different ways, because my parents are on Asian time, and everyth's late forever.
They say Latinos have oh no, you're always late on Latino time. Nah, my dad's a Central American, so it's you gotta really be on time. You almost scared. It was some PTSD type vibes all the time for me.
Wait, so where did you grow up exactly? Because you were born and raised in LA.
I am born and raised in Ventura, California.
Shout out Ventura.
I grew up there my whole life from beginning to end. Played soccer, went to school there, went to junior college there. And then when I transferred to Cal State Northridge. And when I transferred to Cal State Northridge, Nolan and Kyle both started to really work with indie pop. And then that's when they were living downtown, and they had an indie pop house downtown. So I was just like there from the beginning. Like,
How did you meet Nolan and Kyle?
So I've known Nolan since preschool. He's been my friend. He was friends with my brother. Because,
Nolan, who manages Kyle.
Yeah, Nolan Smith, student of the game. Shout out, love the brand. Nolan, I've known since preschool because him and my brother went to preschool together, and I was in kindergarten. So when you're that age, you basically just kind of like, my parents were like, all right, y'all can just all play together. Y'all are just all like this, a grade away from each other. And then I went to private school, and then when I went to public school, he was in the same public school as me. So we've just been friends ever since. So when he started working with Kyle back in like end of 2011, beginning of 2012.
Kyle, who's also from Ventura.
Yes.
Yeah.
He started working with him. I naturally was just like, because that's my homie. I was like, oh, what's going on? I had interest, and I was like, well, I'm in LA too. So if you ever need anything, like, let me know. And one day, Nolan had to randomly like help out with like a Carnage gig, back when Carnage was still a part of indie pop, and he's like, yo, I can't take Kyle to an audition. Do you think you can help me out? I was like, yeah, no problem. Like, and literally like since that day, I've just been out here just helping out, just doing what I can with the cause.
The help never stopped after that.
I never stopped. Literally first car ride to now, still always on the right of my car.
So that's crazy. So when you started working with Kyle, you kind of just did it because you knew Nolan and he asked you for a favor, sort of. But after that, it just continued. Like you just started helping and pitching in just because you were around.
Yeah, like I love Nolan. That's my boy. So I was like, yo, if you need help, like I got you. I got a car. I'm out here in LA. Where we're from is a very tight-knit community. Like, you know, you've had the same friends since you were like 3 years old. Like everyone knows each other. You kind of almost like, you're not supposed to leave. Like you live by the beach. You're by all your family. You can get good, sustainable jobs that could lead to careers. Like, why would you want to leave? That's what you work towards. That's the end goal for some people, you know? People get married or young, kids young, because you can. I left for school, and then he left to follow his dream. I was like, all right, like, I got you. Like, no matter what, I'm going to make sure you're good, and I know you'll help me out whenever. So I would just add a car. I could pick these guys up. We'd have random little gigs. We'd open up for G-Eazy, just do a bunch of stuff like that. And, you know, I was always around, go to the indie pop offices back in the day when they had Studio A, B, and like they used to have like a gym back in the day randomly in the office.
How come we can't get that back now? Where's our gym?
I was just all like, I had never known anything of this type of world. So I was just like absorbing it.
What was the hardest thing to get used to getting into like the music world, the management world, personal managing somebody's life?
Nothing is guaranteed unless you can make it guaranteed in your head.
So explain that.
There's certain things in this that like it takes more than an average person to make happen. In order to get some of the things I've had to do in some days done in a matter of 12 hours, it's very like, how did you do that? It shouldn't be, but like if you tell yourself like, no, this needs to happen today, I need to make this happen.
It's like ultimate manifesting. And I totally get it because I live in the same world. Mm-hmm. What's an example or what's something that you were able to do in, a limited amount of time that any regular person would be like, this is impossible. You're never going to do this. It
was a bad moment, but like I can look back in it now and look at like the biggest learning experience. But like I had to get 6 passports in 12 hours.
12 hours?
So there was only one flight we've ever missed. Me and the tour manager at the time, we had some issues with communication, and he sent me the passports, but they never got to me. We're supposed to leave to Australia, and no one has passports. I'm like, it's the day after Christmas we were supposed to leave. So missed that flight. So I'm making these calls. I called the U.S. consulate. I'm just calling everywhere. Finally get a hold of someone, let them know what's going on. They're like, all right, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to this place at this time. And I tell Tyler and everyone, book the flights for 8 o'clock that night. So literally from 8 in the morning to 8 at night, I did not stop. Like I didn't have the passports physically in my hands until 5:30. Like it was just one of those, and I still have to pack. I still have to, love my girlfriend. I still gotta freaking eat. I still gotta call my mom. I still gotta there's so many things that in my life need to happen, but none of it matters. Because the most important part was I got 6 individuals, including my bosses, that I need to get their passport.
And they got on that flight at 8 p.m.?
We got the flight.
Damn.
We made it and made it to New Zealand. You don't realize what you're capable of unless you're willing to put your... Because most people be like, oh, no, fuck that.
Like, it's impossible.
Like, blame it on the person. Like, this is impossible. Like, the term impossible is the most interesting term to me because there's a way for everything. It's just the way you're looking at it. That might be hard to do, but if you look at it from the other angle, oh, I can get this done. I can make this happen.
I have a saying that working in management taught me that you can make even the craziest miracles happen, just like what you were talking about, right? And you do it for work, but it definitely affects you as a person. Do you feel that way too? Because I feel that now when I see an obstacle in my personal life too, I don't even sweat it anymore. Like, it takes a lot for something to push me to the point where I'm like, okay, like, I'm worried about this.
Yeah. Obstacles are there and you got to get around them. And it's just it's all about how you position yourself to view it and go through with it. Because to me, it's like, I've done the hardest things in my life. So when it comes to my personal life, I go about everything at like a good pace. Like, I'm just chilling, like, oh, this is not gonna work out today. Okay, it's all good. Like, there's no need to get mad. It's not the end of the world. Like, that's what I realized. Because in entertainment, things are the end of the world because you're really worried about someone's life, timing, the moment. There's so many non-tangible things that you can make tangible if you know the timing, the moment, like how everything just aligned the right way.
So when your schedule or your life is basically based on another person's, because if the artist, if your client says they need to go somewhere or they want to do something, it's kind of, you have to be there, right? You're basically on call all the time. Do you find it hard to have balance in your life?
Yes. But trying to find the balance is I love that. You can only be comfortable for so long. I don't know. I always grew up feeling like when you're uncomfortable, that's when you really are going to know who you are, because you're really going to see how you act in an uncomfortable situation. That's on some like Latino shit that like my dad told me. I learned to adjust, learn to be comfortable. Yeah. It's better to learn to be comfortable than to just always learn to be uncomfortable to be comfortable instead of just being comfortable at all times. You
mean you want to be challenged so that you grow as a person?
In this life, like, yes, it's hard to balance because you forget to take care of yourself. You forget to take care of the people that love you, that are outside this world. And that sometimes for me is like, in a sense, like just hopping from like portal to realm, like regular life to business life. And then you kind of mix it together, but you know, it doesn't work. Like, you got to be able to like walk away and just be like, it's okay. And that's where like I learned to be comfortable in my most uncomfortable, because sometimes it's hard for me to just be like, wait, I don't have to do anything right now. I have to chill. Like, wait, like it takes a second, but
for you to unplug.
Yeah. But it's when you get there, it's awesome because you can really appreciate like downtime. To me, sitting down with nothing on, not even looking at my phone, and just like having a time to reflect, like just downtime is just the most gorgeous thing in the world to me right now.
If you could go back, because I'm sure you said you've been with Nolan and Kyle for 7 years. If you could go back 7 years ago and tell yourself something that you've learned in the past 7 years, right when you were about to enter this crazy world of music and entertainment and traveling and being on call and late nights and early mornings, your life basically based on another person's schedule, what would you tell yourself?
I would tell Jesus, don't always eat the hamburger and fries.
Meaning like what? Don't eat too much?
Like your health.
Oh, got it.
Your personal health.
I was like, was there? I mean, I'll always eat the hamburger and fries. I want that to be my motto. So look out for your health.
Exactly. Look out for your health. Like me specifically, like the health, because there was a time frame where it was like we ate a lot of fast, because that's all we could eat. So I would tell myself, like, be mindful of your health, and literally like the decisions or like the moment doesn't last forever. Like being mad doesn't last forever. Like let go, like just let it go. Like everything, that was like the hardest part for me to understand in this, because when you're working so close or like with your friends, you know, certain decisions get made that like it hurts, but it's like it shouldn't hurt this deep. It's like, okay, it's cool. Like this was the decision that needed to be made because we needed to do that. But for me, it was like, I would just hold on to stuff, and it's like, yo, you don't need
Like
to
taking a decision personal?
Yeah,
Is
like,
that what you're talking about?
yeah,
Is there
like
like an example of that?
no, more so like just when I'm dealing with like my personal life, something will like get said and I just like snap, because it's like I'm just so into the business mode of things, like I'm not allowing myself to find balance.
It's really hard for me to picture you angry. You're one of the most laid back people ever.
No, I was a tour manager for a little bit once, so yes, I can get very mad at sometimes.
How'd you like being a tour manager?
Knowing what I know now, I don't know how I did it. I did it blindly, like never knowing how to do it before. Just kind of like I just knew how to drive, get to the place, and get money. That was the only things I knew how to do. So learning along the way, that's when I really talk also about like not taking things personal. Because when I was a tour manager, like if someone didn't want to go do something, I'd get mad. If someone didn't want to drive the van when I was tired, I'd get mad. Someone didn't want to move the bins, I would get. It was just this personal thing when it's like, yo, like it's all good because you're supposed to be the head in command, so you can't show that you're shaking.
What tour was this?
Ooh, I did Kyle's Hey Kyle tour, the very first tour, and then Kyle's King Wavy tour. And then we did 2 sessions in that. We did one for US, and we actually opened up for the Chainsmokers for a little bit, like early on, like when the Chainsmokers just had Selfie.
Let me take a selfie.
That song.
I remember that song.
And then we did another leg, which we did like the Midwest and the West Coast of that. I was the tour manager for the Hoodie Allen tour when we went on tour with him and Black Bear.
Oh yeah, I went to that show, I think. Here
Yeah. So I was tour manager for at least like 4 tours. Like, but it was just us. Like, I was a tour manager. Max was the production manager randomly, as well as doing photo, and he would build the stage and do lights at the same time. Smalls, our barber, was selling merch and like helping out like as a roadie, like bring out all the stuff. Like everyone was doing everything. Like even Kyle was like bringing in merch at the time. Like this was when it was just like all of us in a van figuring it out every place we went to with the U-Haul.
But there's something about that time where you look back, don't you, and you feel like that was a simpler time, and
that was the greatest times of my life, hands down. Greatest times of my life. Like just us figuring out the road by ourselves, traveling across America for like the second time, third time. Like, oh, let's find this spot. Like specifically understanding how gas stations work in America, how lights, like, go to places where like we'd get out of the car and all of us would look at us like, who are, like, you clearly don't belong here, or you clearly aren't from here. Like there were some instances where like people would kind of look at me and I'd use my knowledge. Like I was in Alabama and this guy was like looking at me really funny at the gas station. I had my window rolled down. He looked at me and I looked at him. I was like, Roll Tide. And he looked at me and he was just like, Roll Tide. And I was just like, college football, thank you for saving my life right there.
Sports always brings people together.
It worked, but all that those times, because it was just us, like 250 room cap, 175. Like we got to figure out how to get to the other person, like just nonstop, just us working, and I'll never forget those days. And because of those days, I'm really ready, and I feel like I'm really good at what I do now, because those days taught me how to organize, advance, mapping hotels, knowing certain people, like that I've built relationships to this day from those early show days, that like I'm like, okay, I can call so if I'm in this state because I know they can help us out with this.
That's always a big thing in what we do too, is you have to know the person that can fix a problem. Like if you're missing something, if you need something, if you need a passport in 12 hours, you have to have that person on speed dial. Like I know the right person for that.
Not just speed dial, but not be afraid to do the quick search. Having my phone is the most important thing, because in 3 seconds, I can find the best food for Kyle to eat, find the nearest place he needs to go to for like if it's a medical emergency. And then I can also look up stuff for Pro Tools, or if I need to like research, just anything up is just right there. But you just have to be willing to just like okay, this search doesn't work. Okay, look up this. Like, go through all your keywords, go through all the things that you just know to just make everything as easier and faster for you.
For anybody that looks at what you do for work and goes, I want to do what he does, how would they get into the business? What do you have to say to somebody, like, in order to prepare them for what they're about to do? Because it's a whole lifestyle change. I don't think most people understand that. They think that, you know, they see like the glamorous part of it, like going to parties or being on tour. But being on tour means you're packing for months at a time in your suitcase, and people don't understand that, I think.
You're gone for a period of time. You are probably going to be uncomfortable. The shower, you might not shower some days, which is hard for people. I showered like 2 times a day. Like, I like to stay clean. I just like to feel.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
You know, you're going to be eating different. Your sleep schedule is going to be completely off. Like, people be like, oh, you're out all the time. Like, I don't drink. So I'm up till the wee hours of the night sometimes, sober, because I have to be, because that's my job. It's like, if I were to tell anyone that wants to do this, just be like, commit yourself to the highest level, but always remember to raise your energy higher than the person that you're with. Because no matter what, you always have to be more happy, more excited, because they might be feeling a certain way. So you got to give them energy. You got to give them like a happy moment. You know, you're there to be not just someone's assistant. You're there. Sometimes, you know, they talk to you. You're their life coach in a sense. You're like
their therapist, their best friend.
You're just doing everything you can to make sure, like, not just that they're happy, but their well-being is in a state where they can be the best at all times. Just like how everyone else, like when I learned that early on, it was like, wow, if I can do that with everyone I meet, and they have like a job or something, they're gonna take that much more care into it, because someone's coming to them with like, yo, like, you're the best at what you do. So do it at the best of your abilities, because I know you can. And if you just come to everyone like that, everyone's just gonna like, oh, okay. And I don't know, just makes life a little bit more easier.
This is like the best way to start my day, hearing that stuff. I feel like you're my life coach right now. You talked about all the work that you've had to do, you know, being responsible, helping keep somebody's life and the team together, being everybody's kind of cheerleader, I guess, when you guys are on the road. But you get to do a lot of fun stuff too.
Hell yeah.
What's some of the fun stuff?
Man, fun stuff? Depends.
Is there somewhere that you got to go in the world, maybe traveling, that was on a bucket list that you got to do because you have this job?
A low-key bucket list thing of mine that was really dope was Kyle got invited to go to Atlanta a few years ago for the McDonald's All-American basketball. Kyle performed for the kids because we had like an engagement with McDonald's at the time. So we performed for the kids, and then we got to meet the players. And I'm a huge basketball fan, like, just all in all from day one. Like I've gone watch certain kids in high school because like they're just that dope, you know. It's like the future. So we got to go meet the players, and it's like, this is when like Zion Williamson was there, RJ Barrett, Moses Brown. Like, these are all the guys that are like right now just got into the league. And like we got to meet them, and Kyle, like, they're all signing the ball. Like it was just funny, like just meeting these kids, and you're like, yo, but you're just this 6'9", just tall monster. Like, what the hell? Like, some of them were cool, like they were mad receptive. Others were like kind of like, in a weird way, like they're kind of like standoffish because they're just so young, and like you're just thrusting them into like the light. So Kyle's just like walking around. Some of them know, they're like, oh shit, but like Kyle's just like, oh, what up? How y'all doing? And they're like, basketball players also like athletes like that, they just have lazy handshakes. It's like you just like extend.
Is that a thing, really?
It's just like weird. It's just like shaking hand with like some string noodle, like some string cheese noodles. Just like, what's up? Like,
I would feel like it'd be the opposite because they have to like handle a ball on court.
nah,
You don't
like,
think so?
Up, man? Like, like Brick was like, yo, what's up? What's up with that ass shake? And he's just like looking up at the dude. Like, it was just the funniest thing. And then we got to go to watch like the dunk contest that night.
Oh, that's so dope.
And like Zion was in the dunk contest. So it was just like, you know, these are things like as a kid I would watch on TV. And then I was like actually there. Like the first time going into like the MTV Video Music Awards, like when Kyle had like the High to I Spy, like we had a performance there. So we had to go there, and I had like a production pass, and I'm like walking around. It's like, oh shit, like this is the MTV Video Music Awards right now. Like,
Did you get to meet anybody cool?
I make sure if I walk by or see someone that I make sure like I'm gonna say hi to you, and I'm gonna have a funny story, or it's gonna be like I was walking, and then like Kendrick was like right next to me, and his security, and I was like, hey, yo, Kendrick, I was at that Key Club show. Get that shit up. And he just like walking, just kind of looks at me and just like, I was like, oh, snap, you know, like, or like Pink walked by and she just got the Video Vanguard Award. And I was like, yo, Pink, what up? Congratulations. She's like, oh my God, give me a hug. I'm like you're just like walking and just, I just see these moments, you know, like just, I'm walking with Kyle and like Gucci Mane's right there. And he's like, hey, Mr. Kyle, how you doing? And we're just like, I start freaking out. He's like, yo, chill. I'm like, yo, it's Gucci Man. Like, I'm not afraid to be a fan in these situations. I know there's a time and place to like say something, and you know, like business is business, but like, you know, if there's a moment where like I'm standing with you, I'm gonna be like, yo, I just gotta say this, but like mad respect for like what you do. Like you're dope at what you do. I met Joe Russo, and he's a dude that directed like the Avenger movies and Age of Ultron and Endgames and Thanos. But he directed one of my favorite TV shows as a kid, Arrested Development. And I saw him, I was like, yo, you literally gave like one of the world's, like one of the greatest shows. And he's like, oh man, like for real? Like he was just like happy. And I'm just like, yo, like there's a reason why I'm here. Like I watched the show that you wrote and I'm here now. Like there's a reason why I watched your show. Like there's a reason for everything. So it was just like, you guys just got to show respect, because there's a reason why you got to that level. And then you'll go to the next level, and then you'll go to the next level. And then at some point, if you're doing well enough, even on some like regular shit, people will start coming up to you and be like, yo, I heard about this. And it's like, oh, wow, now you can share it to the world. And it's just like, it's just constant of just sharing respect and love and admiration for each other. Like just ongoing.
It's so positive. I feel so good. Everybody in the room has just a huge smile on their face. That's great though, that you get to.
Everyone's also low-key lit.
Yeah. I might be lit from last night. I'm not gonna lie. Still, that's why I'm chugging this delicious coffee. Well, okay, you've already been doing this for 7 years. What's next for you? And also, what's next for you and Kyle?
Man.
Like, where do you want to see this go for you?
I mean, ultimately.
Is it too early to ask that question?
Nah, I mean, I live like day to day in a sense, especially with this, because the greatest thing Kyle ever told me about this, and the reason why I wanted to do this so bad, was when he was like, on our very first tour, the Beautiful Loser tour, we were opening up some shows with G-Eazy. And one of those shows, I had to go to school. I was still going to college. And I was like, yo, I told him the day before, I was like, yo, I might be late, but I'll be at the show. I just got to go see if I can get this class. And he's like, no, it's cool. And I was like, yeah, but if I get this class, I might have to miss these shows, but I'm going to try and make it. So it's all good. He's like, dude, it's all good. But just remember, as fast as this starts, it's as fast as it can end. So like, just think about how you want to really do this. And I just thought that was the realest thing to me, because it's like at any given moment, something could start, or at any given moment, this could end. And so I was like, I'm going to, especially in the very beginning stages, I was like, nah, I can't risk it. I'm going to, you know, and I dropped out of school and I just went full-fledged on this. So when I think of like later on how it goes, like, you know, I would love to be like a executive and, you know, like the super duper industries, and, you know, deal with like Kyle's film life, and, you know, end up, you know, I know I'm not going to be his day to day forever. But right now, the main focus is like just making sure I can just do my job the best every day. And as I do my job the best every day, I'm figuring out what I'm really good at. And then it'll manifest itself like that. So I do have a 5-year plan, but I just don't like talking about it, because I'll just make it happen and then we can talk about it.
There you go. Then we'll come back and have a conversation about all the dope shit that you've been able to do since then.
Bring it back to the incubator over here.
To indie pop. Well, who knows? we might have another building somewhere, hopefully with a gym by that point.
Let's go. Bring back the gym.
Bring back the gym. We
Ben
got to
and
get our
Carlo.
fitness on.
I love those guys. They took care of me when I was like, they didn't need to, but they were always very nice to me. That was one thing about them. They always were very nice. They said what up. And like Josh had a way of like making me feel like he cared about my life without knowing who I was. I was like, oh, this is pretty nice. And he had like long hair at the time too.
Oh my gosh.
So it was like, okay, like, oh shit, like this guy's cool. And then Ben always had long hair, but he was always like more like the high vibes, like yeah. All right, that's dope, dope, yeah. And then Carlo would just be in and out real quick, but he was always to me like, oh, he's the busy one. He's like, hey, what up, guy? What up? And then like walk away.
I can picture it in my head the way that you're talking about it.
And they were always there, like, you know, they fucked with the cause. Like when I found out I was a tour manager, they're like, oh, dope, like we can trust you. And that to me was like the dopest thing. When someone says like, I can trust you to make sure like someone's safety is good, like it's a good feeling. So I never want to like let them down.
You also have, like I've been saying, your work ethic. You obviously are responsible. Like you have that reputation. So it's not just people giving you props just to give props, you know. So you've earned it for sure. And we appreciate you. It's always a blast for me when we get to work together.
No, thank you, Seena. It was awesome with you. It's nice seeing you when you walk in the indie pop offices. Like, yo, what up, Seena?
I always try to bring good vibes.
What shoes you got on today?
Sneaker gang.
Heck yeah.
Well, thanks so much for dropping by.
No, thank you guys for having me. Shout out to Stewart and Katie in the building.
You're right.
We had an audience up in this bitch.
I can't remember a time I was goddamn wrong. Man,
Heck yeah.
That's it.
Hey, man.
Heck
That
yeah.
wasn't so bad, right?
No, it was tight.
I ain't been getting high. Well, maybe a little, baby, I don't wanna lie. I know when you text me, girl, I don't always reply. Well, you're not an angel either, you can't even fly. I know this, you think that you know shit. All this shade that's coming at me, I wonder who throws it. They can't see the vision, boy, they must be out of focus. That's a real hot album, homie, I wonder who wrote it. Oh shit, okay, pray them niggas go away. Oh, we sell the clowns around, it look like Circus Soleil. This is not the album either, these are just the throwaways. This shit's still so cold when it drop, it's gonna be a motherfucking snow day. Hey, boy, it's good and he knows it. He don't say it, he shows it. I'm just like DeRozan. If I shoot it, it goes in. I'm in Cali just coasting. Get him so wet, they need coasters. I got a selfie with Oprah. I just ain't ever posted. And I'm in my happy place posted. I ain't frowned since 06. I ain't cried since 01. My bad, like Six Flags in your house is no fun. You can come back to mine though. Your friend in Cupid is fine though. We gon' end on a high note. I spy with my little eye. A girly I can get cause she don't get too many likes. A curly-headed cutie I could turn into my wife. Wait, that means forever, ever, hold up, never mind.